All right. So it's been a while since we've had a conversation before.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff has changed.
A lot of stuff has changed
very quickly. We haven't done a sit down because I guess we've been busy. And now I have nothing but time on my hands. And you are really, really excited about what's been happening.
Excited's an understatement.
So I wanted to just do a recap on everything that's going on that people might not know what's happening. And unfortunately, it is all about artificial intelligence. I know you want to talk about more than that. But the last time we talked, I think OpenAI had one model out. We went from ChatGPT 2, then we had 3, we had 3.5, and now we have O models.
Oh, it's 4. Oh, but
yeah. But the introduction of O models. So we've moved from artificial intelligence just being generative, where it was talking or giving us outputs that we want, to having the ability to reason, to be able to do logic, and reason came the ability to code and think about its responses. And now we're at agentic artificial intelligence, which is artificial intelligence which can operate on your behalf. It has agency, or will have agency to do what you want it to do. What in the past 6 months has been the most exciting things that you've seen so far?
you're asking me what's the most exciting things I've seen. It's kind of hard to ask me what's the craziest things I've seen, because I was Paul revering all this stuff back in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. So it seemed less crazy to me and more just like a living through my prediction, living through the teachings of Ray Kurzweil's law of acceleration, law of accelerated returns. So it's more less to me like, oh, this crazy stuff is happening, and more to me like checking a box, like checking a checklist. But if you want to ask me what I've been the most impressed with, it hasn't been the large language models like ChatGPT. It's been two things. It's been the image generation that you see from GPT. Recently released 4.0 image generation, which is insane. You talked about Rev to me a couple weeks ago. That's been crazy. And image generation, when you look at what it used to do, because we've been using Midjourney for about a year now, you would have issues with artifacts like fingers, 6 fingers instead of 5. You couldn't get the correct words to spell correctly. Yeah. But now you have these models that get them correct. And then pairing those image generation models with now LLMs that allow you to take images and turn them into video, or LLMs that can take text and turn those texts into video. That is very, very fascinating to see. But I will say, on top of that, there is one that surpasses that, and it is something that, I mean, like I realized it was coming, but seeing it in real life is another level. I often joke with you, like at this point, collecting LLMs is like collecting infinity stones for an infinity gauntlet, because they all just give you unique superpowers. But I think the most disruptive one that has empowered me, at least in my workplace and my personal projects at home, is the LLMs that do the programming and the software engineering for you. So you talk about the Lovable, you talk about the Cursor.
Those tools, like the LLM or the model being used by a lot of these is Claude by default,
Yeah.
Anthropic Claude. GPT 4.0, 01, 03 mini, I suppose, does some programming. Google's model does some programming, but like the number one programming model with a lot of consensus that I see online is Anthropic Claude.
And so like, and what I mean by why it's so exciting for me with someone with like very limited, very minimal software development skills or engineering skills is what is the proper term for this? Natural language programming, to where I can type or orate what type of website, web app I'm trying to build, software I'm trying to build.
Yeah.
And I mean, the moment I hit enter, this tool, this LLM just outlines code to build this website. And after it's done building this website, it is literally a conversation. It's me giving the input of design, me giving the input of functionality, and it continues to create code and build these tools. It builds these products for you that normally you would have to pay someone $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, depending on the type of product you wanted to build. And now this has been demonetized to $20 per month. And for me, that's mind-boggling. I often think about what is going to happen to these students who go to college to get a software engineering degree. I mean, right now from 2023 to 2026, if you are going to school for a software engineering degree, it seems to me that it is not value added at this point. Like, you are going to leave college in a marketplace or an environment that has automated your skills away that you just learned. So I don't know. That's the most interesting, fascinating thing that I've seen so far.
I disagree with that point about not going to school to get a degree. And
I didn't say don't go to school to get a degree. I just said if you're going to school currently for software engineering as it exists, as the curriculum exists today, I feel like it is not value added to you once you get that diploma. Now, if someone modifies the curriculum and teaches you software engineering plus prompt engineer or something like that, then yes, value added. But if you're going based on the curriculum that is provided today, I think you're not getting your money's worth.
So the excitement that you have had recently is more so in the advancements we've seen in image generation, the advancements that we've seen in these models being able to develop working code. I don't think you mentioned the fact that you built your own website with its own utility to be able to capture your journal entries. Speak like, because you have no programming background at all.
Yeah, graphic design.
And you were able to use lovable.dev to do what?
So I was playing around with GPT and saw a nice prompt on X, which did a psychoanalysis on someone. They just asked GPT to take the entire conversations they've had over the last year and do a psychoanalysis on them and give them feedback, even the hard feedback that they wouldn't want to normally hear. And the answers they got, they said, like, was absolutely insane. So I did the same thing, and GPT gave me answers. I felt like it was my therapist that I had been talking to for like 5 years or more. So I was like, oh my God, that's like lightning in a bottle. I would like to get constant feedback every month. If I'm creating a journal, I want some AI to look at all my journal entries, my frustration, when I come back home from work and my boss has pissed me off, if I go into work and I'm not excited about a project, or I am excited about a project, when I'm home and I'm upset because I didn't go on that run, if I'm having issues with my friends, those journal entries, I would love an AI to go in, analyze it, do a behavioral analysis on me, tell me some hard truths about myself over the last month, how I should probably handle situations, how I wouldn't. So I decided to develop a website around that, and I called it a dream journal. And so I basically went to Lovable and said, hey, this is my idea. This is what I'd like to create. Just gave it a framework, something simple. And it built me out the beginning of a website. But it wasn't as simple as that. Luckily, you, product manager, who was able to kind of help me properly outline how I needed it to build. So it started with a login screen. So we started with a login screen. Then we started having it allow me to edit my profile. And then we started working on what each page and each tab did. And then we worked on the UI. And it was a great experience working with Lovable to generate a website for me, take images from Midjourney, which is an image generating LLM, and then take that image and just kind of turn that into the UI for my new website, and then add an API from ChatGPT. I think it was 4.0 also, that did the behavior analysis every month. And I mean, just putting all that together was a beautiful experience for me. It was actually very, very fun. And there is no time in my life in the last 20 years where I can say developing a website or developing an app, because we do have some background, and it has ever been fun. But it was a real joy playing with LLMs and getting it and working with it to develop a product or tool that I could use and do use on a daily basis.
In terms of image generation, because you talked about that too. Well, we've had conversation. I think the last conversation that we had was years ago. And we were talking about where the future was headed, where society was headed, how it was going to impact society. And now a year later, we're here. Based on everything we talked about in the past and we're here now, what is like the next phase of advancement that you see for technology as a whole, societal changes, cultural changes? Like, the world kind of blew up in certain echo chambers with the release of the 4.0 image generation stuff, and Ghibli was all over people's timelines. But there's other things coming. What do you see, like, what's next? If you had to predict, like, what's next, are we getting AGI, artificial general intelligence? Like, are we getting better video models? What's next?
So I will say this. For me, what's next is all written out in the sacred text of Ray Kurzweil. AGI, people talk about AGI. Oh, this product is AGI. ChatGPT 5 is AGI. The whole idea of AGI doesn't matter. It does not matter. Will we have AGI by 2029? Yes. As long as you know that, every product that comes out doesn't need to be a grand announcement of when we're going to have
What do you
AGI.
mean it doesn't matter? Why doesn't AGI matter?
Because we are currently sitting on the journey, and we know what the destination for AI looks like.
If we were to compare this moment with artificial intelligence to cryptocurrency, where would you say we were with Bitcoin releasing in 2008?
We are compared to, that's a great question. I mean, so we're kind of leaving the AGI story and going to like where we are
just in artificial intelligence in
general. Compared to Bitcoin, Bitcoin being released in 2009, we are in 2012, 2013, 2012 of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. That's currently where we are.
So it's in a position where it's overhyped in certain communities and echo chambers. It's like the technology is overhyped, but it's not mass adoption. Like, no one knows. It's not the moment that Bitcoin ran to, what was it, 15 or 20,000 in a year.
Well, yeah, that wasn't
2018.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was.
Well, then, so this is the difference though between cryptocurrency and AI. Bitcoin comes out in 2029. I'm sorry, 2009. Bitcoin comes out in 2009. By 2019, you're seeing Bitcoin at 20K. When AI right now, I say AI is at where cryptocurrency was in 2012, but the rate of adoption and the amount of funding going into AI is speeding up the utility of AI and the use case among people. So like right now, AI is in 2013. Next year, AI will leapfrog to cryptocurrency in like 2018. Like it's moving a lot faster.
But there's a difference. So the question that I asked you was about like the social changes and societal changes. You're talking about is leapfrogging in terms of its advancements, but we're still seeing a large disconnect from those who know and actually use the different tools.
I had a painful conversation with people at work. Very painful. I mean, I feel like I'm behind when it comes to using these models, but I talk to people at work and they have no clue. My boss has been and working through his career. He's been working now top position in Nike for let's say 2 decades. But coming back to the US and seeing me work with LLMs, and he's like, what is that? Like, that is absolutely insanity.
Well, you said coming back to the US, where was he?
He was stationed in Korea, Japan,
so
Vietnam.
in Asia.
Okay. Yeah. So coming back and seeing me, he's like, what is this craziness? But I have college students currently getting their degree, and they feel like GPT is only for writing emails and helping proofread papers. No idea, just learning about image generation, no idea about video generation, no idea about how to use it to create ads, no idea about its ability to program. Oof.
So with that disconnect though, because again, to run parallels back to cryptocurrency, we saw a technology that was created and there were investments in the blockchain, there were investments in the infrastructure of crypto, and there was hype in these echo chambers. Normal people just knew Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Those are the only names they knew. They didn't know about Solana, Cardano, et cetera. And now, not until 2018 when it blew up, but now I'm saying we can parallel that to AI today, where a lot of people know about ChatGPT because they used it 2 years ago to write emails, papers, and stuff. And like we have these rapid updates to the different technologies and the different models. Yet when you talk to people, we've gone to dinners, we talked to our waitresses and waiters, and you've talked to people who you work with. They've only used ChatGPT. They don't know about Napkin. They don't know about Claude. They don't know about Notebook LM. They don't know about like some of these other tools that is like an AI wrapper. So when do you think that it'll become AI mainstream in a sense where of like how crypto is more mainstream today?
So I've been thinking about this a lot because it used to always bother me, and it bothered me because I was preparing myself for what is known as the singularity, and we covered that in a previous video. But like, why are people not paying attention? But like when you look at the graph, it always starts with what? Like the early adopters.
Yeah.
And I realized that like I'm just an early adopter.
Yeah.
But the world doesn't need to be or won't be. Historical trends show that they're just not early adopters.
That's fine.
So you ask me, when is the mainstream going to pick up on this and jump on this? 2 answers for this. One, 2025? Probably around 2027. Because there is going to be something so explosive that happens in industry and society from the economy or because of the economy that they won't be able to ignore it. And slowly, you call it slowly, but it's going to be the fastest adopted technology that I think we've ever seen. Slowly,
It'll be so pervasive to everything that we
so pervasive, and it's going to increase productivity by such a large number that every job will require you to use a certain type of tool,
artificial intelligence,
in order to in your job. So people will start using. I give it 2 years, 2026. I mean 2027. Before it's.
The reason why I asked that, 2 reasons. One, I want to cite a data point. The IDC did a study where they showed that average performers in the workplace that use generative AI, this was before agentic came out and reasoning came out, but that were using generative AI for their work, increased their efficiency or increase their output at work by 46%, which is wild. So the reason why I'm saying like, when will everyone else catch up, is because though AI is a nationwide conversation, another part of the conversation is that AI is going to come and replace our jobs. And if AI is going to come and replace our jobs, why are people not trying to look at what this monstrosity that is coming through? Why are people not called to look at it? Is it that they are kind of intimidated because it's tech, because it's computer science?
I thought that, I thought maybe there's some intimidation. Listen, first of all, let's openly acknowledge me and your background when it comes to like class. When we were born, we were lower, we were like,
it wasn't middle class.
It wasn't, we were
single
parent household, like
with 2 kids. And she was,
So like we were not even middle class. No. And so when you're in situations where you're either at the poverty line, you're below middle class, you are middle class, but still just getting into middle class, still struggling kind of paycheck by paycheck. Your focus is on how to survive the next day. Your focus is, how do I pay my next bill? Your focus is, where is this going to come from? How do I support my family? You don't have the time to think about, oh, this new LLM, what opportunities are there for me? Exactly.
You're using terms.
Okay, so what is this new AI? What is this new AI going to do for me? How could this help me get a new paying job? Like, people don't have that bandwidth to think about it because they're fighting for their lives and in order to survive, provide for their family and things like that. So at first I was like, why aren't people paying attention? Same thing with when the crypto market started exploding. Why aren't people paying attention? And then you realize it's not that they're not paying attention because they can't. They don't have the bandwidth to pay attention because there's so many other things going on in their life that cause, like, it's not viable for them to stop and say, holy crap, the world's changing. If I grab onto this, I can change my life. Like, that's just.
Shout out to Andrew Yang. The prediction.
100%.
Presidential election.
100%.
$500 additional a month can allow people to loosen up a little bit and dive into like what the other things are that's going on out there.
Yeah. So it's not that they can't, it's just there's other things going on that requires their attention. When you have a wife and 2 kids, or a husband and 3 kids, or 1 kid, it's about, is my son passing his classes so that he can get into a good college? Oh, he has to go to baseball practice. It's not, oh, how do I upskill myself so that I could get not in the ways that we think it's as easy.
But let's talk about that. But I've had this conversation just recently with someone that I'm planning a partnership with, and he's in education, and we're talking about the moment where AI is sort of like, I referenced cryptocurrency before, but you can also liken it to social media.
Yeah.
In terms of the way that it's applied and how people use it. And if we take the lens and put it on education for a second, a lot of the criticism is that students are not learning how to do critical thinking. They're allowing AI to give them the answers for them. And one of my pushbacks on that it's not really a pushback, but it's an observation I made when social media came out. No one educated millennials on the proper way to use social media. Instead of building an algorithm when we started to lean more to interest-based, instead of building an algorithm based on entertainment and escapism, you could have built your algorithm in Discovery to show you more things educational or like something purpose-driven or aspirational-driven. Not that you had to be an entrepreneur or anything, but like, say, for example, you were interested in buying a house. Instead of using Instagram or instead of using TikTok and saving and interacting and following entertainment stuff, you could be following these influencers that are talking about that. And I fear that AI is going to have the same moment where you just kind of let the kids run and do what they want to do with AI without giving them the proper guidance on how to efficiently use it to keep up your critical thinking ability and to work with the AI and not have the AI work for you.
This moment right now, I will say this. I don't think it's designed based on how history plays out over and over again. I don't think this moment is designed for everyone. I think this moment in time is designed for the early adopter who just wants to play around in it and the entrepreneur. And we talk about people getting left behind. I mean, yeah, from an economic standpoint, maybe from a class standpoint, because the entrepreneur, the person who sees these tools and uses it to build some type of product for themselves or some type of value for others, is going to be able to hit escape velocity with whatever product or tool or service they're providing in order to move to a different class or different tax bracket. And so, like, I think this moment in time right now is for those people. It's for the people like us who are just curious, but also the people like us who are trying to build a business off of it. So, like,
do you think that's what it should be used for right now?
Yes. I think every time a new technology comes out, the early adopters and the entrepreneurs who see it as a way to elevate their current business, they're the ones who use it, and they're the ones who benefit from it the most. And then people come in later and use it and understand it because their companies start bringing it in because they're trying to compete with these new companies, entrepreneurs who already built products and tools and services with it. And I mean, I think that's just how it is. I'm not here to fight the historic trends. I'm not here to fight history. I'm just here to kind of observe it and see how we might navigate the next revolution or disruption or singularity. And so that's why, like, do I think that we need to be guiding and leading people? I think it's better that they just figure it out themselves. I do. I think it's better in some cases that they figure it out themselves.
So are you not, and not, you don't have to be Superman, like, it's not your problem, but are you not concerned that people will be left behind and then there'll be an economic gap that opens up between those that use AI and those that don't really know how to partner properly with AI?
There will be. 100%. There's going, not like economic gap, like, oh my God, it's like, it's
well, you're going to have a workforce where people are going to be looking at your resume or CV and looking to see if you're AI enabled. Like, if you have the skills to do to write system prompts, or if you have the tools, what tools are you using?
Yeah.
Like, it will, I feel as though there will be an economic gap between those who know and those who don't.
Yeah. Economic gap, that's an interesting word to use.
It's like so like you get these higher paying jobs. It's much like programming. Like,
that's what I was about to akin it to. But like, it's not that like software developers are the cream of the crop and they make more than anybody else in society. No. Like, you still have other jobs that still pay equivalent or a little less, so like, or more. But there is going to be a productivity divide. And how much you can get done, how much of your life you can enjoy because some other aspects are automated away, like those type things that you'll probably see. I do think the people who use it the most will probably have the more fulfilling lives. honestly. They'll have more time to think about and do the things they care about.
Yeah.
So I do think that's what we
In
are.
the near future. More so
like in
in the
2
near
years.
future than in the,
I mean, like in 2 years, like, I mean, we are, first of all, by 2029, you're not gonna, we talk about time having, what was it? A 40-hour work week. What are they trying to drop it to? What was that book called? Like, people are about to have 10, 20-hour work weeks.
yeah.
Because once you hit 2029, once you hit AGI, and like this isn't singular. This is like a tree, like it sprouts out in branches. There is a feedback loop that goes into this technology also. So like, what are the gaps that we're seeing right now? Energy is a big gap, and now you see, not political, but you do see the Trump administration trying to eliminate some of the regulation on energy production. And so what happens,
Which feeds into the advancement of the technology.
So you get this feedback loop with more powerful AI systems, and then you hit AGI, and AGI can help with material sciences and system designing and all these other aspects of society. And I mean, we read a book about this before. When you start having AGI CEOs,
the Omega team.
yeah, that run a company for you, where you no longer need $1 million to start your own business. Like you need about $1,000, if that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And so like by 2029, ChatGPT is about to release agents that can act on your behalf and do multiple things. I think the software engineer agent was $5,000 a month. I mean, if I have a business idea, and I don't know the capabilities of this $5,000 software engineer, so I'm not saying
to be clear, because you're talking about ChatGPT, but just for anyone who's listening to this, we have agents now. Like Devin is an AI programming agent. Claude, with Claude Code, it allows you to have agentic use for your computer, where the AI goes and does things on your behalf. But I think ChatGPT's agent probably will be more popular and get the most hype, but just because of the brand.
Yeah, but like I take a month off from work. It's $5,000 a month, so like everybody can't afford that. But if you have $5,000 a month that you're willing to spend on an expert level software engineer that does not get tired, can work 24/7, as long as you're awake, it's awake. And you build out a product or tool or service for yourself, whether it's to help you improve your efficiency at work. Like this doesn't have to just be an entrepreneurial product. It's something you can create systems, take it to work, and your job's automated, and you're sitting back, like just
absolutely
auditing the work it outputs.
It's extremely detrimental for product managers. When I look at the field, if you have an agent that's able to go out, collect the research, you collect user feedback, and then build a product for you based on the research, it draws out the product plan based on the feedback it's gotten. It can spin out an MVP, connect your Stripe account to it real quick, and then do some marketing images using the same model, ChatGPT 4.0 or whatever, and then test the ads and do all that for you while you're out on vacation, and you come, even if you have one sale, proof of concept.
Like,
is that not worth? Is that? I mean, it's a sale. Like someone has bought it, so other people hopefully will buy it. But is that not worth the 5,000? So I think you're right. I think it's
so what I'm kind of leading up to is like 2029. You have this AGI. You have artificial general intelligence. If you don't know, it's a AI system that has basically the knowledge base of the entire human population in one system. So it can do anything, basically. It's not limited. You needed to create an image, it creates an image. Design an app, it designs an app. It can do whatever you need it to do. Manage your bank account, it can do it. But that's 2029. Kurzweil predicts that's when we hit it. Now you see all these futurists and tech billionaires saying, oh yeah, 2029. Kurzweil has been talking about this since 2009. But anyway, 2007, I'm sorry, and a little bit earlier, but I'm not here to sit on the pulpit. But anyway, After that, the world radically changes. But we talk about feedback loops. One is energy. We're deregulating the energy production in the U.S. China right now has better energy production than the U.S., so they can feed more power into their training models. But that's just one input. Let's look at other systems. Currently, they're running off GPUs. NVIDIA is killing the game with it right now. What happens when we start integrating quantum chips into these AI training models?
That's a while
Is it a while away?
Yeah.
I think that's the misconception, though. I don't think that's a while away. I
think it's a decade.
You think you think it's 2035?
I think until we have commercial quantum chips in commercial products, I do think it's
well. And so this is also the problem, though. You don't need commercial quantum chips. You need somebody who houses a quantum computer in their basement, a functional quantum computer. That thing does more calculations.
But it has to be commercial. The consumer would have to get that thing, buy it, and then put it in their garage or something like that. It's like NVIDIA. Like,
and you don't need it. You could just run on the cloud.
So I mean, so yeah, so if Google comes out with the first quantum computer,
AWS, yep,
they would have to mass produce it so that they can build their own, data warehouse or quantum server farm or whatever, and then give people access to build stuff on top of it through the cloud. Yeah,
the amount of computation that a quantum computer would be able to do, though, versus what we have now is exponentially superior. Let's call it exponentially superior.
Sure.
So
that convergence, so energy convergence, quantum convergence,
in order so you have more power.
I just don't think, to your point, what I was saying was I just don't think that'll happen by 2029. That's the point. I don't think quantum will happen by 2029.
Okay. I disagree a little bit, but that's okay. Because like all of this is feedback loop. So like we know Microsoft, Google, Qualcomm, IBM, companies in Korea, companies in China have been working on quantum, and like all these technologies feedback on each other. So at some point when you do have some AGI, what's stopping you from using a AI in the quantum research laboratory in order to help build new quantum chips, to help discover new quantum materials? We're still using CERN to help us understand particle science. Like it's all this stuff feedback looping into each other. All these discoveries are being printed. So I think the acceleration of these technologies continue to happen faster and faster and faster, and that's just what we've been seeing over throughout history. So that's why I say I disagree. If you think it's a decade away, I fundamentally disagree. But so you have that advancement, you have AGI, and then the next thing Kurzweil starts talking about is biotechnology, which is also an information technology. So it grows also on the same exponential curve as our information systems that we currently see today, AI being a big example of that. So biotechnology will grow in a way where we can manipulate genes, like people manipulate verses in a song. Like we'll just be able to play with our genome, and also using AI to help us study every single medical paper, experiment in the field for the last 30 years and just be a crazy expert on it. Then you're using quantum systems in order to not synthesize, but I'm forgetting words. Simulate interactions between medications and genes turning on and off, genome. So
we get into a marketplace of custom medication.
Exactly. So biotechnology takes off, and then you have nanotechnology take off when you're able to repattern the information processes of the world. And so we're playing with atoms at this point. So by the time we get to 2049, you've just hit a singularity where you can't even see what's coming after that. The world does not look different. If you think by 2040, 2050, it's going to be a same old, you are out of your wheelhouse. It is not going to look anywhere close. I just went on a huge tangent, but yeah. I say all that to say that by 2029, we're going to hit AGI, and the world is just going to go get out of control after that. In a positive way.
Maybe. I mean, it might be positive. They talk about like people put more emphasis in bad actors handling AGI than good actors. There's this fear.
my problem with these bad actor situations and scenarios is it's always bad actors. The Manhattan Project, bad actors. We create a cure for some disease. Oh, what if bad actors take this technology and make a virus, biowarfare to kill us all? There's always fear. There's always doom and gloom. There's always bad actors that are going to take over the world and kill us all because that's just their hobby, and it doesn't happen. And so,
I mean, with the Manhattan Project, there are other countries that do have nuclear weapons.
100%, and we're all still here.
We're still here.
But we're all still here.
To your point,
So
you're more of an optimist.
I mean, even if you don't want to go by what I'm saying, like by what is his name? Not Stephen Kotler. Canadian guy. God, I forgot his name.
Steven Pinker?
Is it Pinker? Steven Pinker. Is it Steve Pinker?
I think so.
Yeah. Angels and Demons. Like he gives a very, very compelling case with the data to back it up.
Why the world is going.
Why the world has been getting less violent and better for everyone. Every decade, every 50 years, we've actually become a better place to live. Poverty has gone down, violence has gone down, raping and killing has gone down. So
let me jump back to the point of the question I asked you before. You were saying how now is the time for entrepreneurs and early adopters to be using artificial intelligence to build businesses or to like just build systems to help them make money. And my thought on that is, yes, that is a path that you can go, but there's also another path. And there's this term that I think of a lot called the AI-enabled human being, where you're just focused on increasing your productivity. Like you're using AI to build systems specifically for you, your OS, so that your productivity goes up. So you're not worried about building a new SaaS product for someone. You're worried about building your OS. So when you get to work, you go into your own system that's private, and you have an AI agent that's working for you to help you do some of that work and to optimize you to put out work that no one else in your organization can match. And I feel like that's an opportunity that people can have right now instead of necessarily focusing on, oh, let me make a new SaaS product with AI that I can then go and get 50 people to sign up for at $20 a pop and make this bag every month. Like that's another alternative, but I don't see a lot of people talking about building your OS with these AI systems.
Yeah, your OS for life really is what you're talking about. And that's a very interesting point. Well, people aren't doing that right now.
Yeah, and they're trying to figure out how to make the bag with, oh, now I have an AI tool that can program for me so I can make software. And I've done it myself. I have sold some software to somebody using AI myself. So, but I also know that if I did have a full-time product manager job right now, I would be trying to figure out how to build my own OS that does like 60% of the work for me so I can focus on like the 40% that I can give a lot more value to.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, it's up to you to build that or not. I think the tools are available at least for you to start. And so I think the person who sees that there is the value, there's more value to generate these tools to help with your personal life, which like that's one of the projects I'm working on, is to help me at work and help a lot of my teammates at work.
Absolutely.
So it can help us track accountability. It can set reminders for us because the day gets away from us. There's a lot of moving pieces in my job, and like sometimes you just forget about stuff. So like it can automate a lot of these processes for us, give us reminders for a lot of these things, capture snippets so we can go back and review like it.
And so I just want to cut in real quick because what you're saying is a point that I wanted to call out. Your organization has not created tools that fill in those pieces
100%
that you can automate.
Yep.
So you, as an individual contributor, can now build tool systems around those those parts of your job that can be automated, that can help the tide that lifts all boats, or even the people that you're managing to be more efficient. And that's the opportunity.
Absolutely. And so that's something that I need to find more time for, but that is definitely something that I'm working on. But yeah, I mean, I think at some point, some company is just going to build a UOS, and it's an OS. You operate it and you tell it about your life. You tell it what you need. Maybe it comes onto a glasses you're wearing, or contact lenses or earpiece. It can listen to your conversations. You can talk to it, and that OS just learns more about your life, what you're doing, where you're going, and it makes it more efficient every day.
It changes its own code based
on what you absolutely updates and things like that. So I think we are getting to a place where that happens. That's actually a project that I'm working down in the future. I've got my own project I'm working on now. That's a little bit, they don't know what this is talking about. Bleep it out. Actually, bleep it out. That's what Aria is. Aria is supposed to be this tool where you're wearing the glasses, it's augmented reality, and this AI is with you every day, and you can see the digital thing floating around the world, but at the end of the day, she's with you, or it's with you, they're with you, and it's just like your best friend walking around, helping you navigate through life, giving you, so that type deal.
But that is the thing. I think, like, this term, again, going back, an AI-enabled human, I feel as though artificial intelligence is going to get to a point, and the internet hasn't even gotten to this point yet, but artificial intelligence to get to a point, especially in the US, where it's like a fundamental right to be able to have an assistant like artificial intelligence at some capacity, even if it's a low level, like not the best model, not the fastest model, but you have the right to have some free agent that can help you operate in a world that is moving 10x fast.
Absolutely.
2 years ago.
Absolutely. And human beings are very dynamic. We evolved more than just physically to match our physical environment. We've been evolving like every decade to match society in general. And so even with these AI tools, with technology moving as fast, I know we think linearly and not exponentially, but we are going to get to a point where it's just natural for us to get used to how technology is just exploding, and new tools are coming out and new things we're able to do. We'll get used to that. But quick caveat, it's more than just the AI though. And I think it's a lot of hype going on. AI is developing at breakneck speeds. Absolutely.
Shout out to OpenAI.
But what the world should also be talking about is these tools that we've not neglected, but because they're still being developed, but like the focus isn't there. As I call it, the eye of Sauron is not there.
Oh yes.
And
there's a whole Shadowland full of tech
that's just building. There was an article that just came out that South Africa just developed the cure for HIV. Nobody's talking about it.
No one is talking about it.
Nobody's talking about it. A cure for HIV. Like, absolutely insanity. That's biotechnology. Augmented reality and virtual reality. Like, they think virtual reality is dead.
They laugh at Meta.
Because Meta is still
dead.
Absolutely. Let me explain something to somebody, and it's to a couple of you guys out there, and it's the same thing that happens with cryptocurrency. It is not that virtual reality can't take off or it's dead. No one ever created the right utility for virtual reality, or nobody ever created the right product. When you look at a lot of virtual reality apps, it's either games. Actually, it's mostly games. I think like 70% of the apps in virtual reality are games. Even when you look at Horizons, when you look at a lot of the other things that come out where it's like a social platform, most of them are based around games, partying, but there's no like utility that sticks. And even with cryptocurrency, it's very difficult. Now you have the government paying attention to cryptocurrency, but what is their biggest focus? Stable coins. Stable coins is a utility, and stable coins is a great utility that's pegged to the dollar that allows you to send money a lot more quickly than you can with traditional staking mechanisms, leveraging, banking. So it comes like a lot of these platforms, it's not that the technology is dying. The utility
it never started.
It never started. The utility was never built for it to succeed that people needed. And so
to speak on that, from my perspective, I think a lot of the problem with that is how product has come into companies, and there's this culture of you have to deploy, you have to ship something, and what happens is a lot of these tech companies start building in public, and they build these alphas and they build these MVPs, and when they release it, then the community or the population say, oh, well, that's not the thing I saw in the movies, that's not the thing I read in the book, so it's not there yet. Oh, the metaverse is dead. Oh, VR isn't a thing, it's horrible, I get motion sickness, VR will never be a thing. And it's because we've moved to this place where a lot of tech companies build in public a lot, but we haven't started. I would argue that crypto hasn't started yet because we're still only focused on one industry.
Well, I think crypto actually has started, and I think...
Well, I'm sorry. I think blockchain hasn't started yet because it's still tied to one industry, and we haven't put enough focus on what that looks like in different sectors and different industries.
Yeah.
I think VR and AR have not started. They have started, and when I say they haven't started, I mean it hasn't gotten to that place what we're expecting it to be, but we haven't given it the space to grow yet. That's what I mean when I say it hasn't started. We haven't hit that point where, oh, this is the actual product. I think we're still in MVP phase for a lot of this technology.
I mean, yeah, I think that's the case. So we talk about AR, we're talking about VR, we're talking about biotechnology. You know, people are so frustrated with the COVID vaccine and say it was a scam. You see, maybe you see some alternative health side effects from taking a vaccine, possibly, but then you're missing out on the big picture of what the technology was that we developed, and it takes away from the spotlight of, oh my God, holy crap, we actually were able to do something pretty big, and if you build on that, we can actually get to something even better. And then you look at robotics, which is starting to make its comeback now. People laughed at Boston Dynamics, their robots, they're beating it with a stick, and now you see China and U.S. working at warp speed in order to develop humanoid robots and other type of robots in order to enhance automation in warehouses and just nursing facilities and things like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of space, rocket science, etc.
There are a lot of technologies that move out of the limelight, and then it becomes, oh, that thing is dead. That thing is dead. It never took off, and it's not going to take off. It's over. The metaverse was just a phase. It was hype. I just don't think the things have aligned yet. To your point, like especially about biomedicine or biotech. Vaccinations, understanding genomes, using when artificial intelligence converges with the ability to understand and unravel proteins, that's going to be a massive game changer.
But you have that. I mean, but you have that already with Google's AlphaFold. Like AlphaFold is doing that right now, and nobody's talking about. I mean, they talk about it when it had its advancement, but now people who know about Google's new development in the AlphaFold LLM model that they have know that Google is about to own the medicine market in like the next 2 to 3 years. Like completely own it, because Google has a technology, an LLM that understands protein structure, protein synthesis, and it runs simulations on if you add this to this, what it does to the protein. So essentially,
but it's to my understanding, it's still mapping proteins. It doesn't have a full database of how every protein works and how every protein is structured.
From my understanding, it does have a full database of proteins and how to build them from scratch and how to modify them and what mutations look like and what caused the mutation. That was the new update that it got last year, AlphaFold 2. I might be lying. It's either AlphaFold 2 or AlphaFold 3. But But yeah, from my understanding, like they are sitting on a gold mine right now at Google, with that technology.
Yeah. And to that though, the understanding of proteins is important because why? Like that raises the longevity ceiling.
Yeah.
That helps get rid of or disable cancers. I'm not going to say get rid of. There's an argument that you can't actually cure cancer because it mutates into so many different forms. But the protein, the understanding of protein synthesis and biotechnology, like what does that do? Like what is the picture that what picture can you paint for society if by 2029 we have that convergence with biotechnology and AI? And
I mean, the entire body is made up of amino acids and proteins. I mean, that's what your genetic code is basically writing. It's writing proteins that build your entire body. So when you understand how to manipulate those basic building blocks, then I mean, you understand exactly how the human body works, how to treat illnesses, how to enhance the human body, how to change the human body, how to switch genes on and off. There's and from what I can see, there's a very large list of applications for health in the entire industry, when we just have the proper understanding of what proteins do, how to manipulate them safely, and what effects that manipulation may have. I mean, from something as simple as changing your eye color to something simple as reducing the amount of melanin your skin produces, scarring tissue, hair structure, hair density. Like it's a long laundry list of things that we can do with that. So it's what I've once heard Jason Silva say as like, it gives us the ability to evolve our own evolvability. We, at that point, we have the control mechanism to basically control what we are, not who we are, but what we are as a species. So
is that transhumanism?
No, transhumanism is a little bit, I mean, it's part of transhumanism, yes. Transhumanism is the ability, no. I'm sorry. Transhumanism is being able to enhance our cognition, our physical characteristics, our mental characteristics, our psychology, like every aspect of self can be modified and improved because of whatever technological tool we have at our disposal. So like transhumanism is updating and upgrading ourselves into the next level of humanity, from the apes in the caves to the hominids, the Homo erectus, and all those other species that came with that till we branched out to Homo sapiens. Transhumanism is that next stage of human evolution, and it's the technology and the tools that we use to get ourselves there. So that's kind of the art of, well, the term transhumanism, both a political party and a actual term used to describe those of us who believe in that and want to push policies and agendas and create products that push us into our next phase of evolution. That's transhumanism.
I want to talk about real quick, and we'll wrap this up, but I want to talk about the Luddites, as you refer to them.
I have nothing nice to say.
With ChatGPT 4.0, the new image model was released, and people went wild with their own creative expression. Finally, again, you see AI enabling people to have skills in which they normally would not have. And in this case, it was expression through art. And a lot of people made Ghibli images. And then you had the art warriors come and shame OpenAI and shame people using this technology because you're stealing from the people at Ghibli. And I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts on this like anti-AI when it comes to art, because it's been trained on information from other artists and giving other people access to then express themselves in the same way that the other artists have?
I have nothing nice to say about those. Like, maybe I'm going too far to call them Luddites, but like, what are you, a social justice warrior for what? Like, you're in a losing battle. It's a losing battle. What are you fighting against? The people who fought against the car. Oh my God, that automobile is going to take work away from horses. Cool. Stand in the line with a picket, with a sign, and what? You're going to protest? Protest. Okay, protest for a year. You're still going to lose. Nothing's going to change. There's too much money in the industry. If you are sitting on your ivory tower complaining about people stealing art and jobs or whatever from artists, welcome to life. That's history. You know what? The artists find something else to work on. They find new modes and creative spaces for art. They use those same tools in order to enhance their art. So like anytime I hear people say that ignorant stuff about that, and now one, I'm not talking about the people who are genuinely concerned and trying to find other solutions to make sure that artists get paid, i.e. the artists themselves who are upset and trying to find new ways or consistent ways for them to still express their art and get paid. I understand your frustration and you're trying to come up with solutions, but the people who have nothing to do with it, they're not artists, their cousin's not artist, their dog isn't an artist, they just want to sit there and complain. Like, this is human history. Happens all the time with multiple technologies. You end up leveraging this technology to create something even better later down the road. There's so many art forms that we haven't gotten to.
Yeah.
No one, I mean, like, you're complaining about 2D art. What about 3-dimensional art? I haven't seen most people jump into that. That's some of the most powerful art I've ever seen in my life. One 3D art exhibit that I went into actually brought me to tears. It was so beautiful. So art's expanding. It's ever encompassing. Sit down. Like, okay, people are generating images of themselves in a certain art form
That they were inspired by.
they were inspired by. They thought it was cool. If anything, they're bringing more awareness to the movie or the art form that it came from. But no, these people, they were upset with self-driving cars. Oh, they're too dangerous. They're going to kill people. Yet they're the safest things on the road. The data suggests they're the safest things on the road. Every new advancement, it's why we don't have nuclear energy right now. Like, it's so frustrating because people are still so freaked out by that meltdown that happened in Chernobyl. But yeah, and so we have all this regulation over nuclear energy and it's slowing us down. We could have enough energy to power every home for pennies, but oh, I'm so scared of it. Oh, I don't know about that. It's gonna have a meltdown. How many nuclear reactors have actually melted down in the last 100 years? In the last 100 years, how many nuclear reactors have actually melted down? I don't think there's too many. I don't think there's many at all, honestly. So it's just doom and gloom, fear, people just talking out their ass, social justice warriors. And I don't mean that in like a...
But do you not, can you not find, is there not empathy to be had for artists that have a certain style, and now because they've decided to put their style out there on the internet, now artificial intelligence can duplicate that style, but it gives, because artificial intelligence isn't just automatically just printing out their style. It takes a person to be at the other end of the keyboard to generate the image in that artist's style. Is there any empathy that should be had for that artist now that their fans or that random people can generate artwork like that instead of having to paint it or sketch it?
No, like, I just, this is so stupid. I'm sorry. We went from being able to paint images And then people started doing photography. Like people started doing photography, and then we started doing photo editing on Photoshop. Oh my God, you can just change what photos. This is not natural. Then we started moving into digital art. People had something to say about digital art. Like it's so boring. People are constantly complaining and bitching about new technologies that come out, what it's doing to an art class or art form or a certain group of people. People adapt. We keep going. They use that technology and leverage it to make their art better. Like, what is the line? Good copies. I'm sorry, not good copies. Good artists copy, great artists steal. Like,
And we've been doing that.
yeah, for
As
a
a
long
species
time.
forever.
Like even it's not just the image thing though. People are complaining about, oh, AI is going to ruin everything, steal people's jobs. We need to stop the AI. Remember, there was this big bandwagon, mostly from the left. I will openly admit that, but mostly it was from the left, and they were saying, hey, we need to put a pause on this AI thing. A pause on this AI thing. If we don't do it, like I hate to sound like this, but if you don't do it in America, they're going to do it in another country. The country I feel the worst for right now is Europe, about to get raked over the coals. Europe is about to get left behind so bad when we talk about developed nations, because you have the US, you have China, and they are allowing these industries to explode. And you know what Europe is doing? Regulation, regulation, regulation. Like, some of my European friends have no idea how far these LLMs have gotten, how far these AIs have developed, and what it allows you to do. And I feel so bad, because when these things explode and we hit that strong level of AGI or whatever, and Europe's bogged down in regulation for copyright and fairness practices and all this other stuff, like, money is flowing out of that country. It's flowing out of that country. And what are they going to come to the United States and say, help us? Can we use your tools? Yeah, you can use our tools, but you are literally behind. Like, you're years behind us at that point. It'll be no different from the military. Europe and AI will be like how Europe is to the U.S. military, just years behind. And I feel bad for my European friends and the people in Europe, because of these policies that their government has put. And I know their government is trying to do the right thing and protect people, but like, this is the world we live in. This is literally the world we live in. So no, I don't have any empathy, because this happens all the time. Like, if I start a barber shop and have 5 barbers, and that's my business and my pride and joy, and that's where I get my money to feed my family, and some guy builds a group of robots that cut hair with the precision of a brain surgeon, and they're out here scalping people to the centimeter with the best haircuts you've ever seen. Like, if I lose my business, I need to learn how to level up.
Well, in America, yeah, it's capitalist, is a capitalist economy. So
I mean, like, but what you can charge, barbers are out here charging like what, $40 for a haircut. And if I got a group of robots cutting people's hair, and we scale down, and your haircut only costs you $10, and we can get more people in the door also because the quality of haircuts, like, I either drop my prices or I go do something else. And no different from Turkey. The hair plug shit that goes on in Turkey. Like, if you want to get hair plugs or hair transplants, you go to Turkey, because it's cheap and they do a pretty good job. Like, you're not going to America.
Related to the U.S. economy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. Same concept. Just everybody who pushes back against technology, it's just you're wasting your breath. You're gonna lose at the end of the day. Like, 10 years from now, you're not going to get a job because your boss is going to say, hey, we need some new flyers. Go ahead and generate an image with this. You're going to be like, no, I'm against that, because that's taking somebody else's. No, you're going to shut the fuck up, sit down, and you're going to make that flyer for your boss so you can get paid and feed your family. So this, yeah, I'm sorry. I will go on a rant all day long, but it's only because I'm pro-tech.
Yeah, no, that's all. I wanted to bring that up before we ended the conversation, because it's something that has been happening very recently. It's going to happen again with updates to Midjourney, more updates to ChatGPT.
I mean, we're in Q2 of 2025.
Yeah.
There's so much that you have no idea.
Q4 is going to be a different world.
ChatGPT O1 Pro model built me out an entire business plan for a product that I'm working on. It took 5 to 10 minutes to think about it, and gave me a 30-page document for a business plan with every aspect that I should probably be thinking of for a business plan. ChatGPT just came out. I'm sorry, OpenAI just came out and said that they're going to release O3. So we were going from O1 to O3, and they're going to have O3 Pro that I will get because of my subscription. And I can do the exact same prompt, and it'll give me an even better business plan. And we're not even talking about what October new phones come out. What is Gemini for the Pixel going to launch?
Yeah.
They literally build a phone around their software. Like Android is so native, so built into the backbone of the Pixel phone. What is Gemini going to do? Oh my God, I can only imagine. They have Gemini 2.5 Pro right now. By the time we get there, they've got the new chip coming into their phone. Like, you guys have no idea what's coming down the line. We're excited because it can write documents and generate emails and pictures and videos, and it can make podcasts with audio, and we haven't scratched the surface. So it's only 2025 Q2. I guarantee by Q2 of 2027, this is going to be a different ball game, a different world.
For some.
And those some who do take advantage, and once again, I know there's early adopters, and most of this goes to the entrepreneur who's trying to use it to upscale themselves in order to make their business more productive and scale back on costs. I get that. But for those who do take advantage of it, like, their world changes too. So it's something interesting to watch and live through. We are living through the most exciting time in human history, the most exciting time.
It is the most exciting
in human history. You are literally on the escape velocity curve of the exponential graph for these exploding technologies taking us to the term singularity. Like, you're living through that. If you make it to 2049, so I don't know. Great time to be excited. So it's amazing time. Great time to be alive. I'm excited every day.
It's cool stuff happening all the time. Cool tools being used. There's going to be some events that come out later on. Some tech events that hopefully we get a chance to be a part of. But yeah, just wanted to have this conversation as an update. We haven't been on YouTube in a while to talk about what's been going on. So this is just update on where we are, what our thoughts are on all the latest AI updates that have come out, and we'll have another video out sometime later. That's it. All right, we're done.